I don't really know what to call this. A glitch, a time slip, or just a very strange coincidence. I honestly don't know. I'm from West Yorkshire in the UK. I'm a 27-year-old woman now. And this happened in 2010 when I was 15. But I remember it as vividly as if it happened yesterday. Here's my story. My mom, my grandma, a friend of mine, and I all went to a local coastal town for the day. It was somewhere we had been many times before, at least 3 or 4 times a year. Because we have family who live there. Ever since my mom was a child, we have always traveled the same route through the countryside rather than using the motorway. We preferred it because we liked to stop off at what we called a halfway house to grab a sandwich on the way there and a drink on the way back. We always stopped at the same places. It was part of our routine, something familiar that we had always done and enjoyed. On this particular day, everything was completely normal. We drove to the coast, stopped off for sandwiches, and enjoyed a warm, sunny day. Nothing felt out of place. It was just a typical, lovely outing. It was on the way back that things became strange. We set off mid to late afternoon because we wanted to miss the evening traffic and make sure my friend got home at a decent time. At first, the journey felt normal. We were traveling on the same roads we had always used and were planning to stop at the usual pub for a non-alcoholic drink. Within the space of about 5 to 10 minutes, we noticed that the weather had changed dramatically. What had been a glorious, warm, sunny day suddenly turned grey, overcast, and noticeably colder. At first, we didn't think much of it. Then my mom said, "Oh, I don't know where I am." We were confused and assumed she must have taken a wrong turning. However, she was adamant that she had been on the same road for the last 8 miles. A road we had traveled countless times before. All of us started to realize that none of us recognized the road or the surroundings. We wondered if the road layout had been altered since the last time we'd visited, but that didn't quite make sense. We looked for familiar landmarks to help guide us, but there was nothing. Just fields stretching on for miles. The road itself was eerily quiet. We seemed to be the only car on it. Nothing had passed us in what felt like a very long time. My friend and I began to feel anxious. The situation felt wrong, and we were worried about being lost. My mom tried to calm us down and told us not to worry. She said that when we reached the next village, we would pull over so she could set up her sat-nav. At the time, in 2010, phones didn't really have maps like they do today. About 10 minutes later, we saw a few buildings in the distance. As we approached, we realized there were 2 semi-detached houses, a small farmhouse with a yard, an old-fashioned level crossing for trains, and a pub. My grandma suggested that we pull into the pub so my mom could set up the sat-nav and we could have our halfway house drink to calm our nerves. We went inside the pub, and it was completely empty except for an old man sitting in a rocking chair in front of a burning fire. As soon as we entered, he abruptly stopped rocking and stared at us as if he was in shock. He didn't say a word, he just stared. He was wearing brown work trousers held up with braces, black boots, a cream shirt with a knitted vest, and a flat cap. He was smoking a pipe. He looked as though he had stepped straight out of 1910. We walked up to the bar where the barmaid or landlady was behind the counter. As soon as she saw us, she froze mid-step, again looking completely shocked. We asked if the pub was open since it was so quiet. She stuttered slightly and said, "Oh, yes it is. What can I get you?" We all ordered soft drinks. My friend and I were underage at the time and my mom was driving. The woman scrambled around behind the bar to get our drinks. When we tried to pay with bank cards, she looked utterly baffled. She then took out paper and a pencil and manually added up the cost of the drinks to make things easier. We paid with loose change instead. To the right of us was a narrow staircase. A little girl, around 7 or 8 years old, came running down. She was wearing white tights, brown brogue-style shoes, and a burgundy pinafore-style embroidered dress, along with a hand-knitted cardigan. Her hair was styled in ringlets. She gasped when she saw us and looked just as surprised as the others. She glanced between us and the woman behind the bar, who we assumed was her mother. We thanked them and took our drinks outside to one of the wooden tables. As we walked out, the man in the rocking chair started rocking again and watched us intently. Outside, we spoke in hushed voices about how strange the whole situation felt. There was no one else around. No other cars in the car park, no other people in the pub or beer garden, and no one walking near the houses. The entire place felt deserted, unnaturally quiet and frozen in time. As we quickly finished our drinks, a man in a van pulled up. He got out, took a pickaxe and a spade from the back, looked over at us and said, "Ooh, visitors," before going inside the pub. We got back into the car as quickly as possible and drove away. Within just a few minutes, we found ourselves back on a road we all recognized, and the sun was shining again. The entire experience was bizarre and difficult to comprehend. It was all we talked about for the rest of the journey home as we tried to make sense of what had happened. The unfamiliar roads, the old-fashioned clothing, the atmosphere of the place, and the way the people reacted to us. As if we were the strange ones, were all deeply unsettling. That's my story. The memory is still incredibly clear, and I'll never forget the expressions on their faces. We still talk about it to this day, years later, and all of our memories match perfectly. It remains one of the strangest experiences of my life, and I wanted to share it to see if anyone else has experienced something similar.